With the re-release of Revenge of the Sith in theaters and me personally rewatching Arcane for like the 100th time at this point, I wanted to talk about the similarities that I have seen between Anakin Skywalker and Jinx. Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. So glad you all made it back, happy to see you. I today want to explore the relationship between Anakin Skywalker and Jinx. Personally, I've pondered this ever since I started Arcane, and of course with the finale with Season 2. It has been brought back into my mind, and I really just want to talk about it from my perspective and how similar that I see both of these characters. See, they're both insanely tragic characters, and although they exist in these vastly different worlds, their narratives echo each other with like haunting precision. You got two gifted individuals shaped by trauma, consumed by fear, manipulated by false mentors, and ultimately redeemed by love. For those of you who are not Star Wars fans, and for those of you who have not seen Arcane, highly recommend both of you watch each other's series, I guess. Like, what are you doing? You absolutely need to check out both. They're incredible. But for a quick synopsis, Anakin Skywalker first. He begins his life as a slave on Tatooine with an extraordinary connection to the Force. Highest midichlorian count anyone has ever seen. He's prophesized to bring balance to the galaxy, yet his journey is defined by emotional repression and fear, especially the fear of losing those that he loves. When he turns to the dark side to prevent Padme's death, it's not out of hatred, but out of desperation. That same love ends up becoming the fuel for his destruction. And in trying to save her, he causes the very future that he feared, that he had premonitions of. He was the cause of that. And then Anakin, of course, duels Obi-Wan, becomes Darth Vader, a symbol of terror, locked in a suit of armor and a life full of regret. Now, Jinx, born as Powder in the lanes in Zon, the Undercity, she mirrors this descent. She's a sweet, eager girl desperate to prove herself. Powder ends up suffering a pretty catastrophic loss with her father and her friends, and then when Vi walks out on her, she thinks Vi walks out on her. Vi just needs a little time away, just needed to breathe, but Vi gets taken, and Powder at the time is left with Silco, a crime lord who then feeds her grief and paranoia. In time, Powder then becomes Jinx.
That's me!
A mentally fractured, trigger-happy anarchist who is haunted by the ghost of her past. She sees them everywhere, Milo and Clagger, in these visions, at least in season 1, and then like Anakin, she essentially buries her former self under a new identity that is forged in paint. Both characters undergo a transformation marked by a new name and a complete rejection of who they once were. Anakin becomes Vader, Powder becomes Jinx, and yet neither fully forgets who they were. They both claim to have killed the other. Well, Jinx actually says that Vi killed Powder, but what they truly want isn't necessarily power. Jinx especially doesn't really care at all about power or anything. Anakin, he does want the rank of master because he believes that he is as good as he is, because he is as good as he is, and he absolutely 100% deserves to be a master on the council. But at the end of the day, that's not what fueled him to the dark side. That was his love for Padme, and that's what it is for Jinx too. She wants to be loved, understood, accepted. Their descent isn't a result of an evil ambition. It's really the result of a wounded love. In Jinx's case, a love that she feels she lost when she lost Vander and her friends, and then that she feels she lost from her sister when Vi walked away from her in her eyes. And on Anakin's side, a wounded love with Padme where they are hiding their love. They have to hide it in secret, and he fears that he is losing her after he had lost his own mother. And then they both commit terrible acts in like a warped attempt to hold on to the people that they care about. Jinx and Anakin are mirror images in different worlds. Both are chosen in their own ways, with the chosen one and Powder just being so incredibly gifted. They both possess these incredible gifts, and both are lost because no one helped them navigate their pain before it consumed them. Their stories almost reflect the human costs of neglecting these emotional wounds. And then their redemptions too, they follow a shared rhythm. For Anakin, it is that unconditional love for his son. Even though he is Darth Vader at this time, Luke is the one that is able to bring him back. He wants Luke to join the dark side. He wants to be together with Luke. He wants to rule the galaxy because now he does want power because he lost everything else. But he wants to do that with his son, with Luke. So there's more love right there, and Luke's refusal to kill him in Return of the Jedi, his belief that there's still good within this monster, reignites this dying ember of Anakin Skywalker's humanity. And so as the Emperor is then killing Luke in front of Vader, Anakin, he almost snaps back into Anakin Skywalker, the Jedi Knight, former Jedi Knight. And in his final act, Anakin, he's Anakin, destroys the Emperor. And then, unfortunately, he sacrificed himself and he ends up dying in his son's arms. But not as Darth Vader, as the man that he once was, that Jedi Knight, that general from the Clone Wars. That man, Anakin Skywalker. Jinx's redemption, on the other hand, is centered around more loss. She does lose Silco. She kind of went crazy and someone put a bunch of holes in you, Silco. But when she meets this stray kid, Isha, that we know, she saves Isha. Isha basically hangs on to her like a little kid. She provides her this emotional connection that she's been denied, Jinx has been denied for so long. Isha doesn't see Jinx as a villain, but as this wounded person, but that's still capable of love. She doesn't see Jinx as Powder, she sees Jinx for Jinx. And loves Jinx, wants to protect Jinx, can't lose Jinx, almost as if Isha is Powder to Jinx's Vi now. Jinx is now the bigger sister, so she has younger sister Powder in Isha. That makes sense. So when Vander Warwick is then reintroduced to their lives, she does end up bringing Vi back into her life. And then when Vi re-enters Jinx's life, Jinx is confronted with this sister that she feels like she lost and the possibility of healing. Vi sees the connection too with Jinx and Isha. I can't even talk about it. It just gets so emotional whenever Isha makes the sacrifice play to save her two new sisters. Essentially breaking Jinx. But thankfully, as much as Vi wants to be there for her, and as much as Jinx wants to accept Vi's love and being there for her, it really isn't what she needed. And she does try to, but thankfully we had our boy Echo, who came in, someone who loves Jinx for who she is. As much as he tried to fight because she wasn't Powder anymore, he knows that she needs him. and he was there. One of my favorite couples ever, by the way. So at the very end, just like Anakin, Jinx then sacrifices herself to save the ones she loves, in this instance, her sister. She chooses this vulnerability over the violence. She chooses this connection over her previous chaos, and she finally embraces her broken self in the entire final episode with compassion. Two absolutely tragic characters who got an incredible redemption, and every time I watch Arcane, it's that redemption arc for Jinx, which really gets me. She's like my little baby, and I just want to protect her at all costs. I love her. I've always seen that as like my personal Anakin coming back to the light, but not Vader. Like she did some pretty catastrophic things, but it almost felt like it would be like Anakin not turning to the dark side. Every time I watch Revenge of the Sith, he's not gonna do it the next time though, I swear. You know, and at the heart of both stories really lies the same truth. It's that this redemption is not about undoing the past. It's about being seen, truly seen by someone who refuses to stop believing in you. You know, Vi and Isha are just as pivotal to Jinx's story as Luke is to Anakin's. Despite everything that Darth Vader had done in the galaxy, Luke still knows that that is his father, and he can redeem him. He sees the light in him. He sees the good in his father. Vi feels awful for what she did to create this monster, as she claimed early on, Jinx. But in the end, she still can't bring herself to actually kill her, especially when she does have Isha, who she sees that really truly cares about Jinx, and knows that if this little kid can care about this monster that I created, maybe she really isn't that much of a monster. Anakin and Jinx aren't tragic because they fell, but just because for a long time no one caught them. You know, and their stories remind us as viewers, as people, that even in the darkest of places, you know, love does have a power to resurrect the light. But let me know what you guys think in the comments section below. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, please leave it a like, because it does help out this channel so much. And if you made it this far and you still haven't considered subscribing, why not? You're already here. Check out my Patreon if you want to see some full-length reactions. I will be posting more on there very soon. We got Speak No Evil up there. I've got my Aliens reaction, which never has seen the light of day, hopefully soon. And we will have more up there, including Super Bad. But until next time, take care, and I will see you all in the next one. That was a bad exit. Peace.